function of SJIM's 30th full-time PGDM batch, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez SJ, Director of St. Joseph's Institute of Management, Reverend Dr. Roshan Pereira SJ, Dean Dr. Rajiv Narona, Finance Officer, Reverend Father Prashant D'Souza SJ, my dear second-year students, incoming first-year students, parents, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you present here. Every year, institutes of business like our very own St. Joseph's Institute of Management formally celebrate the PGDM inaugural function to mark the first day of a new incoming cohort of students. SJIM was established in 1968 and got AICTE approval for its full-time 2-year PGDM program in 1996. Therefore, today marks the 30th inaugural function and our 30th incoming batch, which is you. Dear incoming first-year students, for months now, you have interacted with the Institute for your applications, your interviews. All the incoming students have also compulsorily completed or in the process of completion 3 bridge courses before joining here today. And so all of you are intellectually fully equipped to begin the program. Management programs, unlike your undergraduate programs, management programs move fast and are intense, team-driven, career-focused, and academically taxing. Therefore, the orientation program beginning today and lasting till Saturday will prepare you to hit the ground running and prepare you before the real pressure begins. Over the course of this week, you will undergo cultural alignment, academic readiness, networking foundations, and career orientation. But before we dive into all these, we have this function, a moment for you to pause and see the bigger picture. This function today, dear first-year students, is meant to welcome you, motivate you, and give you a sense of identity with and belongingness to SJIM. By His perennial presence in the life of our institution, God illumines this institution with His power and strength. In this spirit, I request our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Shrikant K. Arimanithaya, Rector, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez SJ, Director of St. Joseph's Institute of Management, Reverend Dr. Roshan Pereira SJ, Dean Dr. Rajiv Narona, and Finance Officer, Reverend Father Prashant D'Souza SJ, to please light the lamp. During the lighting of the lamp, the SJIM choir will lead us in a song of reflection, invoking God, the light of the world, into the minds and lives of our institution's students, staff, and management. Ladies and gentlemen, we have amongst us an eminent personality, Mr. Shrikant K. Arimanithaya, Chief Executive Officer at Zarpi Labs, who is our chief guest of the day. We welcome you, sir, and request our Rector, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez SJ, to felicitate our honorable chief guest. Father Rector, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez SJ, is a well-known and deeply committed priest, leader, and educationalist who is always involved and supportive of our institution. Dear Father Rector, we are very happy to have you with us as President of our PGDM inaugural function today. I request our Director, Reverend Dr. Roshan Pereira SJ, to felicitate our beloved Rector. I now invite our Director, Reverend Dr. Roshan Pereira SJ, to welcome the incoming batch of students to SJIM.
The Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Mr. Shrikant K, CEO of Zarpi Labs, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez SJ, the Vice President of Bangalore Jesuit Educational Society, Dr. Rajiv Norona, the Dean of SJIM, Reverend Father Prashant D'Souza, the Finance Officer, esteemed faculty, staff members, Ms. Jaishnu, the General Secretary, and the Student Council, proud parents, and my dear pioneers of 2026-28 batch. Good morning and very warm welcome to each and every one of you to St. Joseph's Institute of Management. It's my great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to yet another academic year. Today, as you sit in this auditorium, you're not merely entering a new academic year. You are stepping across a threshold into your professional future. This inaugural ceremony marks the beginning of a rigorous, transformative 2-year journey. For me, as I conclude my first year as the director of SJIM and welcome you in my second year, the second incoming batch, and it's a moment of immense pride and renewed responsibility. You're not joining here as an isolated business school. You are entering into a lineage. SJIM is backed by profound Jesuit legacy of over 485-year-old educational tradition initiated by St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuit order. The Jesuits are world-renowned for creating institutions that do not just produce successful managers, but exceptional human beings. By joining SJIM, you automatically become a part of massive elite global network of Jesuit institutions. From Georgetown and Fordham universities in the United States, Sophia University in Tokyo, and our sister institutions like XLRI and XUB closer to home, you are now connected to a global family that commands immense respect in the corporate and academic network. Our institutional motto is Fide et Labor, faith and toil. It's a reminder that brilliant strategies are empty without deep-rooted values, and the high ambitions are meaningless without the willingness to work, sweat and blood for them. What is expected of you? I'm going to place before you the day one mindset strategy. A PGDM at SJIM is not an extension of your undergraduate days. It's a high-intensity professional mindset. The corporate world does not look for people who can simply memorize the textbooks. Our industry demands systems thinking, the ability to see how global economics, technological disruptions, and human ethics intersect. This year alone, we have actively expanded our horizons with cutting-edge industry collaborations and certificate programs in AI in marketing, Web 3.0, and many more courses. We expect you to approach these emerging frontiers with utmost curiosity and intellectual discipline. We expect absolute integrity and a willingness to step outside your comfort zones. In the Jesuit tradition, we call this as magis, the continuous pursuit of excellence, never settle for good enough. My core message to you today is a call to a clear strategic visualization. Do not wait until the placement season in your second year to figure out where you want to go. Today is the day one. I challenge each and every one of you before you go to sleep tonight to identify and envision your dream company. Is it a global consulting giant, a legacy financial institution, a branding powerhouse, or a deep tech pioneer like Zapi Labs? Once you name that dream, reverse engineer it. Find out what competencies, what technical skills, and what leadership traits that company values. Begin working towards that profile from this very morning. Every case study you analyze, every presentations you deliver, and every corporate conclaves you attend over the next 24 months should be a deliberate, conscious step towards making yourselves indispensable to that dream company. You are architects of your own employability. We are privileged to have with us today Mr. Srikanth K., the CEO of Zapi Labs. His journey and his leadership at the intersection of immense technology, human resources, and corporate strategy are a living example to all of you. Zapi Labs represents the exact kind of forward-thinking, technologically agile, and innovative environment that you should aspire to lead in. Mr. Srikanth's presence here today is a reminder that a boundary between our classrooms and the cutting-edge industry does not exist. Listen to his insights today, not just as an audience, but a future colleague looking for clues on how to navigate the complex corporate terrain. To the parents present over here and who are viewing it online, thank you for entrusting your wards to us. We accept the responsibility to transform them. To the batch of 2026-28, the doors of opportunities are wide open. The faculty is ready. The infrastructure is equipped. And the global Jesuit network stands behind you. But the toil must be yours. Envision your destination, anchor your values in faith, and start building your legacy from this very hour. Once again, a hearty welcome to SJIM. Have a wonderful journey ahead and make your dream come true at SJIM. Thank you and God bless us all.
Thank you, Father, for those insightful words. We will now have the traditional PGDM inaugural function address. Our chief guest, Mr. Srikanth, is currently the CEO of Zapi Labs. With over 3 decades of leadership across global enterprises and entrepreneurial ventures, he has a rare ability to connect human capital strategy, technology innovation, and ecosystem building. Mr. Srikanth's focus is on scaling organizations and industries through AI-driven transformation, exponential growth models, and talent supply chain excellence, enabling businesses to stay agile, future-ready, and impactful. He engages as a global speaker and advisor on AI, converging technologies, exponential mindsets, and singularity foundations, helping leaders and organizations navigate disruption with clarity and purpose. He has delivered keynotes, panels, and workshops on the future of talent, disruptive HR technologies, monetizing intangible assets, and EXO frameworks for enterprise growth. Sir, we are privileged to have you amidst us today and look forward to your address.
Good morning. So I think that energy is not enough. Good morning. Thank you and respected fathers on the dais, Mr. Rajiv, Dr. Rajiv, Dean, and other dignitaries of the dais. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to address the students who are joining SJI. And as father mentioned, I also alumni of Jesuits Fathers Institute. I graduated from Loyola College of Social Sciences, that also Jesuit Fathers only. So I know the significance of the opportunity you have ahead of you, not only getting a graduation certification and a job followed by that as part of your placement, but more important, like father mentioned, this institution will define you, define your leadership, define your life. So that's the reason I'm so excited. When I got a call from this institute, I said absolutely I'll come and share my journey with you and also learn from you in terms of how the world is going to be reshaped once you join the workforce in the next 24 months. So with that context, as I mentioned, I graduated from 1993. I did my MSW, Master of Social Work, specialization in Human Resource Management. My undergraduation was on psychology from MG College, Trivandrum. I happened to get gold medal for undergraduation and post-graduation. So that was the only thing, and what Loyola taught me in terms of my entire leadership as well as what it takes to be a human being. So that was the asset. At that time, there is no placement in Loyola, unfortunately. And there are very few organizations in Kerala, including Keltron. Then we have Hindustan Latex. Then few, very handful. Today, Trivandrum and Cochin have large number of organizations, including EY. I was the global head of EY. When I joined, I set up almost 10,000 people delivery center in Trivandrum and Cochin. So now it's very, very, very vast. So coming back into when I passed out in 93, I have to go and find my job myself. So I was sharing with father before we got into the hall that, how much struggle was it and how I made it. Then it was very easy. I worked in most of the blue chip companies, you name it, Toyota Motor Corporation. I was the head for India, Philips, G, when Jack Welch was the CEO, I worked in. I was at the age of 27, vice president, global vice president of G. I got deputed in Crotonville, which is considered as Mecca of leadership development. Then I joined CA, Computer Associate, went to US for 8 years. Then came back and joined Britannia as such, Chief Operating Officer, responsible for Britannia Transformation, and CIO, Chief Information Officer, and CHRO. So after that, I joined Computer Science Corporation. It got merged with HP, become DXC. I was the Managing Director for India and Global Head of HR and Mergers and Acquisition. 2019, I joined EY as a Managing Partner. 5 years I worked, then 2 years back I started my venture. That's my quick career trajectory. But what I want to share with you, with the AI coming in and lot of disruption happening in every sector, including education sector, I would like to talk on 4 themes, and I'll try to do it very quickly in rest of time. The first one, you are very lucky. You are entering into an era of exponential growth. What is opposite of exponential growth? Linear growth, isn't it? So the linear line, how it goes? It goes like in a vertical, little up, and growing every year 10%. So that's the growth we had. And going forward, it will be 10x. That means 10 times. That is called exponential growth. Anthropic. Anthropic grow every quarter $1 billion US. And today, Anthropic has beaten OpenAI, and Anthropic is going to be, along with OpenAI, first $1 trillion public company. It's going to be. They're going to list soon with $1 trillion valuation. And I can tell you any number of large companies which is exponentially grown in very short period. In HR domain, there's a company called Mercer. I don't know how many of you heard. They grew revenue from 0 to 100 million in 9 months. And their valuation grown from 0 to $10 billion in 18 months. So one can criticize what is the valuation. Is it true? Is it hyped? That doesn't matter. So today we are living in an exponential growth. Now, if you really look at what AI is going to do, to all of you or all of us in the coming years is going to be phenomenal. So we gone through 4 industrial revolutions. What was the first industrial revolution? What was the invention in first industrial revolution? Pardon? Steam engine. Very good. So during 70s. So steam engine was the first industrial revolution. It has absolutely industrialized a lot of production and productivity gains came through that. What is second industrial revolution? Come on, electricity. So electricity again has accelerated productivity and growth. What is the third industrial revolution? Internet and computer, isn't it? So it has made communication costs significantly low and also enhanced productivity, and it also shaped many industries around the internet and .com, if you remember. Now we are entering into fourth industrial revolution. What is that? AI. So if you really look at industrial revolution 1 to 3, the GDP grew from 0.3% to 3%. It took almost 300 years to grow. And today, what is our global GDP? 117 trillion US dollars. So tell me, next to 20 years, where is the global GDP going to grow? It will cross 300 trillion US dollars. And the growth will be around 7.3. This is a publication. You are interested to know more about all this. Read publication by ARK Investors, ARK. Kathy Woods, she is the CEO of ARK Investors. She funded Elon Musk. So Elon Musk came with a crazy idea of exponential technology and exponential growth. Nobody was willing to fund. So Kathy Wood and ARK Investors funded, and they have funded a lot of exponential technologies and exponential organization. So we are going to head into 300 trillion US dollars economy in next 20. Even if you get 30 years, 3 decades, we'll get there. Anthropic will touch 70 to 80 billion US dollars in next few quarters, whereas Accenture took 0 to 73 billion US dollars, 30 years it took, 3 decades. But Anthropic will do it in 3 years maximum. So that's the velocity of growth we are talking about it. And here you have opportunity. I'll talk about little later. Don't get scared and don't get worried. I'll talk about how do you really go behind this opportunity and prepare yourself from today and bring a different mindset like Father mentioned. I'll talk about the mindset, importance of that. So that's an opportunity we are talking about it. What is India GDP today? Close to 4 trillion, 4 plus. So we are in terms of 4th largest GDP, isn't it? US, what is the US GDP? 31 trillion. What is China? 21. Then, who is the third? Japan or China? So Germany, who is that? Pardon? Japan, 4.8, something like that. Then India, then Germany, close to that. So Indian economy is expected to grow 50 trillion US dollars, along with China and US. These are 3 countries will cross 50 trillion, maybe 2045, 50, some people say 40, doesn't matter, subject to our currency fluctuation and certain conditions. This analysts talk about it, and that we need to work on. So this is an opportunity we are talking about it. So coming back into what is the IT services outsourcing marketplace today is a 3 trillion US dollars. Out of that, $1.5 trillion only outsourced so far to companies like Wipro, Infosys, TCS. Another 1.5 sitting inside the corporate. And they are either coming as a GCC, Global Capability Centers, to India, or they will continue to outsource to Anthropic related environment or Wipro or GCC. I consult 53 clients on their AI transformation, their staffing and culture, leadership, and many things. So coming back into BPO industry is 500 billion US dollars and 150 only outsourced so far. So in the existing model itself, there are 1.5 trillion opportunity for IT service companies, and there are 350 billion US dollars opportunity for BPO. That is in the current. But if you add another 200 trillion US dollars in converging technologies, the opportunity is huge. So what is converging technologies? We need to understand. Then we'll go into other aspect of it. So earlier, if you really look at the technologies were very compartmentalized or silo, like mechanical engineering. First, pure science, physics, chemistry, maths, were very silos. There's no inter-science disciplinary actions were not taken much. Then we got into engineering, applied science, like mechanical, electronics, electrical, and all these things. Again, it was not converging. Then it came data science, computer science, and everything. Now AI. Because AI is coming, the technologies are converging. I am working with many engineering institutes across India to help them to really set up this converging technology future labs. So there are 9 converging technologies which will add close to 200 trillion economy. And the first one is next-gen internet. The current internet is not enough because we'll have flying things, moving things, everything will be connected to internet, including your mind will be connected to internet. Mind internet. It's already innovation happened, testing is happening, regulators are working. You put an implant, a chip on your mind, in your brain, and you will connect to your father sitting in any part of the world, and you can, like a telepathy, you can exchange messages and communication. So next-gen internet is one technology. The second one is quantum computing. India is investing a lot. Quantum computing is going to revolutionize the world. And you can invent medicines, vaccinations, everything in few hours with the quantum computing coming in healthcare. The third one is agri-tech and food tech. I have around 10 acres of farmland in 3 places. Today I lose 5,000 to 10,000 per acre every month because I have some cows, I put some caretaker, and productivity is very low. Whenever I go there, I feel very bad. Plants are not watered. Even if I give incentives, they are very lazy. They come with one or other excuse not to maintain the farm. And we are going to come with agri-tech, which includes drone, IoTs, and soil nutrition, and many, many technologies are emerging. You can make 1 lakh per acre per month if you do very well with this technology. And these technologies, I'll talk in few minutes what is going to change. So agri-tech and food tech is the third. Fourth one is robotics and mobility. Industrial robots, human robots, and autonomous vehicle mobility, everything will come in a very big way. The next one is genomic revolution, that is healthcare. We call biological singularity. That means today average span of life is 73 years, but it will go 150, believe it or not. And tell me, 8,000 years back, what is average lifespan of human? 8,000 years back. 30 years. Yeah, close to that, 22. But a lot of people say 150, 200. It's not true. And maybe some exceptional, some munis and some saints lived this many years, maybe exception, but average was 22. And from 22, we reached 73 in 8,000 years. But 73 to lifespan to health span, close to 100 we reach in 20 years. Today, you have antibiotics, and my niece died of a kidney transplant problem, and kidney goes wrong, you have to transplant. A day will come, stem cell of kidney you can cultivate, and 3D printing you can do it. It's already getting real. These technologies are moving very fast. The next one is carbon economy. Today, carbon exchange programs are their credit, don't to emit carbon, but now we are working on take carbon dioxide from air and convert into composite carbon metals, which can replace aluminum and steel. And you don't mind aluminum and steel, carbon dioxide is available in the earth. That technology is being piloted, and it's considered as a $1 trillion cryptocurrency. Somebody is working on that. The next one is what we call it as fintech. And the last one is we call industrial production or revolution 5.0, where human-machine interaction is good. All this today is converged or converging faster because of AI. And I'll send you the reports on ARC investors. They talk about possibilities, startups, and how people are really building their skills and capabilities. So if I sum up, you are entering into an economy where the rest of the 1.5 trillion IT work has to be done, 350 BPO, and another 200 trillion in this 9 converging technologies has to be built. One more thing I forget is space tech and defense. How many of you are passionate watching all this space serial? And I do a lot. So we are working, including space missions of Elon Musk, their idea is to bring colonies in space and find lives in space. And asteroids have large number of gold, silver and platinum. How do you mine in space? Not in Earth alone. We can go and mine in space. And you have oil, natural gas, everything in space. How can you get it from space to Earth? That is, these technologies are working. That is $200 trillion. So if I was analyzing large number of space startups started in India, I don't know whether you recognize it. In the last 2 quarters, number 1 startups are happening around space. I went to some of the schools like Bharatiya's city, there's a school. I saw when you enter the school, right side for K-12 students, they're teaching space. Students are developing satellite and rockets and everything. They're training in the 7th grade and 8th grade. You'll be shocked to see that. So that is the opportunity we are talking about, exponential growth and converging technologies. So in this, the second point I want to talk about it is what is going to be different in going forward. Father did touch that. So there are 3 things essential as you build your career: skill set, tool set and mindset. Tell me which is the most important among the 3. Pardon? Mindset. Skill set is evolving faster than ever. When Industrial Revolution 2 came into existence, a skill used to stay for 50 years. Then the digital, which is social, mobile, analytics, cloud and cyber security, the life of the skill was 5 years. Then when AI/ML came, the life of skill set, data science, was 2.5. With AI coming in today, the life of a skill is 1 year. I'm working a lot of work in Wipro to really understand how do they transform their current job description into AI-infused job descriptions. So today, skill set will evolve, tool set will emerge like Anthropic, and many AI tools will come specific to marketing, sales, HR, finance. Finance people, don't get scared. There's no finance function of payables, receivables, FP&A, controlship. It is going away. Anthropic can do everything. You put your quarterly Excel sheet in Anthropic, it will analyze and tell you what is your balance sheet look like, what are the risks. Then it will also tell you the balance sheet of your peers and how it is different and what they have done better than you. It will do in 10 minutes, believe it or not, 10-15 minutes. I put large number of resumes in Anthropic or OpenAI, it will screen me. But of course, a lot of things need to be done. So this is very interesting phase you are getting in if you look it into that. So your skill set and tool set you need to learn in this college, which is evolving faster than ever before. And that's one thing we need to work on. What are the AI tools? HR people should use it, finance, marketing, sales, and you have business analysis and AI and all these things. Then in this, what is difference is mindset. So Professor Kagan, who is the head of the department of Harvard and psychology, said in the time of stability, what is required is skill set. In the time of disruption, what is required is mindset. We are going to disruption. 10x growth or exponential growth is a disruption, isn't it? And there, skill set will not work. The average prediction and linear growth skill set is good. Predictable growth skill set is good, you can prepare it. But unpredictable growth, what is required is mindset. So there are 5 mindset important. The first and foremost mindset, please cultivate from day 1 of the college, knowing the college environment, it encourages you to develop this mindset. The first one is purposeful mindset. Simon Sinek has written beautiful, many books are available called Why of What, why? Why should I join SJIM? Why should I take HR? Why should I do these things? Why is the North Star? It guides you when you are in trouble, when you are in confusion. So Mark Twain, who is a great philosopher, once said, there are 2 dates in your life important. First, the day you born, which you cut the cake and celebrate. The second, the day you understood why I born this earth. Every human being sent by God to earth with a purpose, with a reason. But 95% of the people die without realizing this purpose or understanding the purpose. So there is an app, I will send you the link to Dean, www Purpose Finder. It is developed by Singularity University and absolutely fantastic site. Go and play around with it and develop your purpose. Again, I'm not telling purpose you can find it with doing that small exercise. It has to evolve. As you study, keep on looking at your purpose. I don't think it changed drastically, but you get clarity on that. That purpose is very important of a leadership. Purposeful leaders, whether it's Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King, they had a purpose in their life. That purpose is very important, and purposeful mind will really transform a leader. And I realized my purpose at the age of 47. I regret, had I got this kind of tools, done it in early part of my career, it would have much more meaningful for me. The second mindset is called exponential mindset, not linear mindset. We discussed about is 10, the power of 9 is billion, isn't it? So I want to really exponentially impact my life and the people around me. The third one, if you want to do exponentiality, you need to have moonshot mindset. What is moonshot mindset? In 1962, you need to look at a YouTube video by John F. Kennedy. Why we choose to go to moon was the title of that. And he said, why we choose to go to moon? Because we know that it's easy. It's very difficult. There was no technology, science did existed at that time, but he had a purpose. And he wanted to see whether humanity exists in moon. If not, how do I bring humanity to the moon? So that was the moonshot idea he had, and he inspired people to solve it using science and technology. So today I can give you 100 moonshot problems and opportunity you have. Then can you, linear growth is important, don't take me. Or Kaizen, small improvement in life is important, but at least you want few of them start thinking exponential ideas, solving with the moonshot thinking. So we are setting up moonshot labs in schools and colleges. It's a very different approach to teach students to solve poverty, Bangalore traffic, and a lot of such things require moonshot ideas. The linear things cannot help you, isn't it? And India require a lot of moonshot ideas and really grow behind it. So that's a third mindset. Fourth mindset is longevity mindset. Life is short until you extend. And you need to work on your health. Your health is wealth, and you need to, today with the science and technology, you can live long. But it's a mindset. That mindset requires regular exercise. That mindset requires control of your sugars. And that mindset requires good sleep so that you don't get into worries and everything. So longevity is very, very important today in not only human life, but also leave enterprises like Jesuit fathers have done, which will last for centuries to come. The last one is called abundance mindset. All of us are working on scarcity and fear. Get out of it. We are living in the most abundant world. If earth cannot give oil, go and mine it from space. Abundance, isn't it? So abundance mindset is very, very important against scarcity and fear. So students, you are getting into most abundant world thanks to the technology. I can process data very fast. I can get signals very fast. So all these things are 5 mindset you need to work on. As you build your skill set and tool set, do not drop paying attention to mindset. Then I'll take you 2 more points quickly in 5 minutes, then happy to take any questions. So in this environment of exponential growth, converging technologies, with this mindset, how do I manage my career? So in career, I have seen phenomenal students making their career. And today, building a career is not easy. It requires, especially meaningful career, it requires a very different approach. Read an article titled Manage Your Energy, Not Time. It's a Harvard article. So tell me, which is infinite, energy or time? And which is finite, energy or time? Energy is infinite, isn't it? Time is finite. 24 hours is 24 hours. None of you get a minute extra. But energy is infinite. What you do in 24 hours will define your success. Everybody have. If you look at, people ask me, Sri, how can you do a lot of things together? I said, maybe of my energy. So there are 4 types of energy you need to nurture as part of your career building. The first and foremost is your physical energy, the way you sit in the classrooms, isn't it? And you not criticize here, most of you are doing okay, but still you can do better. Sit straight, and your body languages, your energy to get up morning 4:30, 5 o'clock, and work till late night. Physical energy is very, very important. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you sit is represent your leadership style and your identity. And the second one is intellectual energy, learning more and more every day. And your ability to have an intellectual conversation with other leaders and colleagues and professors is very important. So reading, learning is intellectual. Third one is emotional intelligence, or we call emotional energy, ability to connect with the people, ability to listen, ability to provide emotional support to each other is very, very important. The last one is spiritual energy. I need not talk about it. You hear a lot in Jesuit institutions. I'm very sure that's the reason you are blessed. And spiritual energy is not only religion. Spiritual energy is not only yoga and everything. Spiritual energy is purpose. You get a lot of opportunity to reflect and clarify your purpose in this institution. I'm very sure. Don't miss that opportunity. So these four energy will define your leadership journey. And your leadership journey begins today, or new chapter of your leadership journey begins today. So your challenge is, how do I find a job? Isn't it? As you pass out. The second one is, how do I navigate from a job to a career? Job only gives you paycheck, and you compromise a lot to get that paycheck, and it will not use your skills and aspirations and energy, but you somehow have to do it. I did my first 2 were jobs. Then you have to navigate into career, which gives you not only paycheck, but also a platform to learn, contribute, and grow. So I have seen when people shift from job A to job B, they get 10% increase or 20% increase. When a person shifts from a job to a career, I have seen you get 10x salary. I have gone through it in my career. That means you are really transforming yourself from a job to a career to make an impact to the job, impact to the people around you, and you continues to use that platform to contribute and make a difference. Then from career, how do you get into purposeful life? Then when I was doing this in one of the college, student asked, is it sequence I have to go through? Job, career, and purposeful life? Answer is no. It is not. It's nothing sequential. And if you can find a purposeful life in 2 years and start living when you get out of this college, you are blessed. But purposeful life will have the component of a job and career. Some people I know that how they build that purposeful life with job and career as integral part of it. So that is the challenge I am giving to you. When you walk out of this institute, you should have purposeful life. Where job is already there, it gives you paycheck. You have a platform to learn, contribute, and make a difference. And you have a meaningful life in the next 2 years. I think that is the question I am asking you to build it. The last one, let me transition to the last one, is leadership. You are leaders, not followers. But in order to become a leader, you need to be a good follower, though. So build your leadership traits in this college. And leadership is absolutely most mistaken word. Lot of leadership intervention, I have gone through it, I have did it. But for me, leadership is an honor and a privilege to which you should not take it with a light intention. You need to take it with a lot of a training, lot of learning before you become a leader. Because leader's role is a noble profession like teaching or doctors, because you are touching lives of people. For that you should be ready. Like Ken Blanchard mentioned, you should have a gentle human hand. So leadership is a responsibility, is an honor and a privilege. And you need to take it with a lot of seriousness. If you don't take it with seriousness, you will not be successful. That's one of the things I want to talk about leaders. And the last and the not least one, leadership is an authentic journey. Great leaders are authentic leaders. What is authenticity? Authenticity means you are comfortable in your skin. You may be black, white, brown, tall, heavy, light, short, doesn't matter. You need to be comfortable in your skin. So that is one thing I always believe Jesuit fathers or their institution, they made you very comfortable in your skin. When I joined Loyola, Malayalam was my second language. I can't speak. I was very thin, introvert. And when 5 people come in front of me, I turn and go away. I can't face it. So father and myself are sharing some of the name of fathers who taught me, like Father M.K. George, Father Joy James, and many others. They're given confidence. The intervention method, first 2 days, what you call assimilation program. Lot of events colleges gives like NSS, Christmas Day celebration, Onam Day celebration, Diwali celebration, everything students manage it. I raise my hand for every activity. I push myself from my comfort level to get into things which I am not comfortable at all. And I was always authentic. I am very comfortable in my accent till I have a strong Malayali accent. People ask me, I said, yes, I'm very proud. When I went to US, my manager said, should he go into accent neutralization program? I said, no. Accent is my identity. I want to be comfortable with that. But I do understand I need to talk slow. I need to be careful in pronunciation. Other person can. So one message I want to give is be comfortable in your skin. And this college will provide you opportunities for everybody, irrespective of where you come from, what language, religion, how you look, how you speak. That comfort is very important, not to wear a mask. So your leadership identity starts from who you are and your comfort. So don't worry, in classes, ask questions. Nominate yourself, even though you are not ready. And in that, nobody is ready to lead, isn't it? And that process is very, very important, the process of to become an authentic leader. And when you are authentic, when you are comfortable in your skin, you are vulnerable. People will see you. You cannot hide because you speak, they understand your accent, your broken English. All these things, you are vulnerable. The leadership is a vulnerability journey. And you need to face it. I am vulnerable every day. What I do today, I am the first generation graduate. I am the first generation CX. I was CEO for listed companies. I was in the board. Now I am an entrepreneur. And 2 of my kids work for me. One of my daughters studied MSW in Christ College. She worked 5 years in IBM and EY. Now she joined. My son studied in Penn State. In US, I was very lucky. He joined India and joined my business. So with that, I think congratulations again. I think you are joining the corporate environment. You are joining the world of jobs, careers, and purposeful life. And you are joining in a place which is absolutely fantastic, like the college we joined today, SJIM. And congratulations to all the students, parents, and faculty. And happy to take 1 or 2 questions if you have, or reflections. Thank you. Yeah. Any questions? Did I confuse you, or any questions? At least 1 or 2. Come on, one of the things, the way you can engage is ask questions. I'll tell you, today, the education system with AI, I did not get into AI and everything. We'll talk some other day. With AI coming in, the teachers need to teach students not to answer, but ask questions. Today, entire pedagogy has to change. Don't prepare students to answer through examination, Viva and everything. Teach students to ask questions, that billion-dollar questions. That questions will provoke, that questions will define the future by finding the answer, isn't it? So one of the traits of a good student is asking questions. One of the traits of a very good leader is asking questions. When I was in EY, our corporate purpose was building a better working world. Better questions, better answers, better working world. That's our logo. So ask better questions. And better is not foolish, simple, nothing. Questions are always questions because it's genuine. You are curious and you are asking about it. So let's practice 2 questions today. Who is going to ask that first question? Come on. Yeah, go ahead. I'll come back to you. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
So my question was, you talked about a lot, right? It was a little overwhelming for me because even I would like to speak like this openly and stuff. And one more thing is that how do I get there? Like you've been really, I want to know really so much. Like you talked about finance, AI, and a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Even I want to speak like that. So what should I do to get there?
Wait, give me a big hand. Yes, very honest, authentic. I think I learned from very early part of things is teaching is twice learning. In the schools and colleges I studied, I teach people. For example, when I go for exams in graduation and post-graduation, people ask me to come 1 hour early so that I'll give them a gist of the paper today, what are the possible questions and everything. I help people to write dissertation. My nickname in college was courier service. Okay, I used to write and deliver it to their home. So the best one, I had a genuine interest to teach and coach others from my childhood. That was in my DNA. Then speaking is not English. Speaking is not grammar. Speaking is you have to speak your mind. Nothing should come on your way. You speak your mind like you spoke now. Then you practice it and reflect it. And Christian Bernard Shaw, he was one of the world-renowned orator. When he got the first stage, he fainted down, isn't it? Somebody pushed him to speak. He started his journey from there. And the story is fabulous. You should listen to his journey. So 2-3 things to you. First one, don't feel bad that you cannot speak. I took 33 years, isn't it, to get here and speak. So every opportunity I improvised and learned and reflected and get here. So the first thing, you acknowledge that you have difficulty and you expressed your aspiration to get there, everything will fall in place. These are the 2 important things. Then you have to practice it, take your students and take a small micro classes, go to home in front of mirror, you take a topic. My daughter also asked this question. So I said, best way is to assume that you are a virtual student sitting in a room in your bedroom and take a topic and teach to the student. Through that you learn. That's how I learned. When I learn, I have to read it out loudly, and I imagine virtual students are in front. I got my daughter a blackboard and a stick and a duster like a teacher. She teaches and learns. So keep in mind, teaching is twice learning. Through teaching, you are developing, learning fast, and you are also improvising your vocabulary, your confidence, your articulation, and your conceptualization. Conceptualization is very, very important. You get a story. I can put a PowerPoint. Still, I will not do the same job I did. But I had a concept in mind. I'm going to talk 4 things. Exponential growth, converging technologies, mindset, and career and leadership. These are 5 things I prepared in mind. I had some stories around that. Then I improvised looking at you and the energy you give to me or the energy I get it from here. I improvised it, isn't it? So that's how we need to do. Don't worry. Practice it. You start with a genuine interest and acknowledgement that you have to get there. It's a long way to go. That's what I advise you. Okay? Yeah. Last one. Okay. One more we'll take. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. So I have a question where you yourself have been an entrepreneur yourself, right now. After investing 30 years, right? So I was working in sales. I saw a pattern where people who were actually having experience were getting into entrepreneurship right now. So you spoke about the expansion, how the environment is changing right now. Like before it was slow growth. Right now it is very fast. So long story cut short, the question which I have to ask you right now is that, so do you really need that experience to get into the entrepreneurship level of that 20, 30 years? Because that is what the pattern which I have seen, right? So as of now, the reason I'm asking this question as well is because I want to get into entrepreneurship as soon as possible, probably after I get graduating from this college, right? So that is my question for you. What are your views on that?
Absolutely. So first of all, no experience is required to become an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur at the age of 20, 15, 14 and everything. Entrepreneurship is a mindset, it's a spirit. I know some of you come from family businesses. You may like to go back and take the family business into 10x in next 3 years. Not after 2 years graduation, now itself you can practice. I was talking to father, we'll give an elective on family business excellence and entrepreneurship in every semester. And father told me that you have an incubation center or venture studio where you can really go and meet people already doing there. Then what is required in entrepreneurship is, what do you call it as starting with a purpose. Why you want to be an entrepreneur? Purpose can be anything. You can say, I want to make money very fast. Or purpose can be a problem today I see, I want to solve it through my business. Or there is an opportunity which today's product and service doesn't address, I want to address that. So everything starts with a purpose. Then your entrepreneurial spirit, when I call it, it's what you call it as one of the very important thing is your ability to take risk. Is very, very important. Third one is you don't wait for even completing of the graduation. That's what I'm telling you. You can start today. And this college give you environment, and I'm not encouraging you to discontinue after a year. But even if you want to do it, Mercer, I told you, it's a $10 billion company. 3 college dropout. 2 Indians and 1 American started that. So find, if you want to be alone, you do it alone, or find friends who have common interest in that domain and everything. Sometimes people say that, I don't have a domain which I want, but I want to be an entrepreneur. Come and meet me. I will tell you 100 opportunities. We are creating abundance is a first level. You see abundance of opportunity as an entrepreneur. Second one is monetizing the abundance. That's where people struggle. So I can give you 10 ideas. And in your area, like your friends can give you, brainstorm it and everything. And entrepreneur always see opportunity. How Uber came, he was in Europe, he was waiting for a vehicle. He saw lot of vehicles passing through empty, but he could not have an access. You also see a lot of people waiting for a vehicle, and the driver could not see, they are waiting. So he said, that's a problem I want to solve it using connecting these 2 people. Then another thing, in Airbnb born, this guy found lot of homes in US. Their elderly kids graduate and they go out of the home. They have bungalows, 4 or 5 bedrooms. He got an idea, why can't we rent it out? Then he went and did a survey, asked the people saying that, will you rent it out your room? They said, absolutely, I'm lonely here, my son doesn't come, I have this bungalow, I'm very happy somebody comes and stays, I interact with them. That's how the business model start. So my advice to you is, there's no experience required, you can do it today. And this college will give environment and support to do it. And rest we'll take it offline, okay? Yeah. The last one, Father, if you don't mind, one more person, rise, then we'll stop it. Okay, go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much, sir,
Yeah.
for giving us the opportunity to ask question. Secondly, my heartbeat is running more faster than the Usain Bolt. Thirdly, how do you handle pressure, sir?
Oh my God.
Like, we are in a
High pressure.
generation where lots of changes are happening in the market, and I'm sure you are aware of it. So how do you handle pressure? Like, there are
Yeah.
so many decisions you must be taking. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, pressure, some good pressure is required. Some good pressure, positive pressure is required. So that pushes you out of your comfort zone. That pushes you out of your sleep to get up and do something. Like our ex-president said, I would like to have a dream which wake me up. Rather than I will have a deep sleep which will have a good dream. I want the first one. So sometimes the positive pressure is very good. All students should have pressure, positive. But once there's a small threshold where it crosses, it started impacting you, your health, your sleep, your cognitive ability, your ability to connect with people. That's the time you need to correction. So pressure is required. That's my experience. And I always say I was in EY, I was very comfortable job. Even if I don't go to office, nobody will realize. That's the credibility I had as a vice chair or managing partner. Then I was very uncomfortable with that. I know that will not work for a long, isn't it? I get every good salary, beautiful salary. I was highest paid in India in EY and everything. But then I said I need to push myself into an uncomfortable position, which I am comfortable with. Earlier I was very comfortable position, but I am uncomfortable. Today I am in a very uncomfortable position. I don't get paycheck and I don't get anything. Everything I have to make it, but I am comfortable with that because I know that that is where going to redefine me in the next 1 decade. So you need to be uncomfortable. You call it pressure or stress or other thing, but it should not hurt your health. It should not hurt others. And that is one thing you need to really look at. And we are living in a most disruptive, fast velocity or high velocity changes happening. You need to have that pressure to cope up. But don't get stress. It's not a stress class. We'll talk later on. Take a break, work hard, party hard. Party means not bad parties, party hard, meet with people, listen music, and have purpose in mind. Purpose will solve half of your stress. Why a lot of people are stressful and because they don't have clarity. They don't know where they want to go. Then they create. So once you have a purpose in your life, half of the pressure will be solved. Okay? Thank you. And all the best. Thank you, Father, for giving me.
Thank you, sir. Our students are privileged to be addressed by you on the very first day of their program. I now invite our director, Reverend Dr. Roshan Pereira, SJ, to present the chief guest with a memento. I can see that we have Mr. Emmanuel David, member of our governing council, here with us. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the program, sir. Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez, SJ, is the rector and vice president of Bangalore Jesuit Educational Society. He is also the vice chairman of our governing council. Father is an accomplished scholar and is well known in the academic world for his strategic thinking. I request our rector, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez, SJ, to deliver his address.
Our chief guest, Mr. Shrikant, Director Father Roshan Pereira, the Finance Officer Father Prashant, the Dean Dr. Rajiv, members of the faculty, parents, and my dear students, the new graduates or new joinees to SJIM. First of all, a warm welcome to St. Joseph Institute of Management. I'm not going to speak about economics, neither finance. Since our chief speaker, our chief guest, he is a Jesuit alumnus. He knows what we do in the institution, whether it is in Chennai, whether it is in Kerala, whether it is in Andhra, whether it is in Georgetown or in Japan. We have a long legacy of more than 5 centuries. Wherever you go to Jesuit institution, there are certain things non-negotiables. Yes, we acquire academic knowledge. We become very expert in the subject which we have opted for. Our concern as management is, wherever you are, our Jesuit graduates, they should be a very good human persons. I want you all, as you begin your academic journey in this institution, remember that you are joining a Jesuit institution. I know there are a few of you have joined from Jesuit institutions. There are many things that you will hear this coming 2 years. I'm sure Father Prashant, Father Roshan, and many more fathers will come interact with you. They will speak about the Jesuit legacy. In Bangalore alone, within the radius of 2 kilometers, we have around 25,000 students in our 6-7 campuses. Wherever you go, one thing is sure, all of us are Josephites. We share the same dream and same aspirations. Today I am going to share with you, very short, I have just 6 or 7 slides. Slides I just generated, again from AI, but the philosophy is of Ignatian philosophy, governed by the Ignatian spirituality. There are many things we can speak on this day, but as you begin your academic journey, I want you to focus on just 5 C's of Jesuit education. A framework for whole person formation. Remember the word formation. I'm not speaking about education. Make a distinction between education and formation. You have been formed by your parents with great love, commitment, lot of affection, Very carefully you are grown because under parental care. That I call it a formation. And in Jesuit education institutions, we don't say we are educating young boys and girls. We are forming men and women for and with others. And that's why formation is very, very important for us. And it is not only catering to the academics. We often say academic excellence, character formation, social concern. These are the three pillars. Today, I am going to speak to you about 5 C's of Ignatian educational framework. Jesuit education, rooted in the Ignatian tradition, aims to develop not just academic excellence, but the full human potential of every student. The 5 C's serve as a guiding pillars that shape graduates who are intellectually capable, morally grounded, and deeply committed to serving others. Conscience, character, competence, compassion, and commitment. First one, the conscience, forming the moral campus. Conscience in Jesuit education means developing a well-formed inner voice that guides ethical decision making. Dear students, we always say God speaks to us in small, still voice. For that, you need to create a little silence within you. Definitely, your heart, our heart, speaks to us, provided we develop that capacity to listen to our voices. And that voice is always genuine and certain. And that is why one of the exercises our Ignatius of Loyola, our founder, again and again insisted on self-awareness. A question our chief guest again and again repeated, a question, who you are, what you are doing, why you are doing. These questions will clarify many things. Therefore, as we begin, we encourage you to examine your life, your actions critically every day. It is very easy to distinguish between right and wrong, day and night. We always speak about what is greater good. What is greater good? And that we need to ask and need to clarify and find for ourselves. And that answer you get from your own deep down in your heart. Therefore, cultivate reflective, examined life. Encourages moral reasoning over blind obedience. Rooted in Ignatian discernment, therefore examination of conscience. Asking yourself maybe midday or at the end of the day before you go to bed, what did I do today? Did I utter a right word? Did I hurt someone? Did I learn something new? Did I accompany someone? These are the questions will make you a better human person. The second, the character. Character refers to the stable virtues and values that define who a person truly is. Jesuit education fosters honesty, courage, humility, and integrity, shaping individuals whose words and deeds align with the greater good of society. Virtue formation beyond academic achievement. Therefore, I know academic excellence is very important. We don't compromise with regard to academic excellence. Along with academic excellence, make sure that your character is impeccable. And to form character, there are many opportunities in the campus. There are a number of activities, and also there is immersion program where you will go and interact with the ordinary people, our own people who are living not in Bangalore but outskirts. Very poor people that struggle day after day, and you'll become, you know who you are while you interact with them. Therefore, emphasis on integrity, humility, and resilience. Leadership grounded in service, not status. For us, leadership is to serve. Our life is well lived when we serve the other. The character tested and developed through real world challenges. Third one is competence. Father Director spoke with regard to, he used the word margis. You will hear about this word again and again in many forums in different ways. But for us, whatever you do, you need to excel. Speaker repeated word like purpose. You need to ask why I am here and what I am doing. That purpose is very important. And to have purpose, just purpose is not enough, but along with purpose, you need to have that passion. So if you want to excel in life, if you want to be competent, you need to have that passion. Competence calls students to develop their God-given talents to the fullest. Jesuit institutions challenge learners to pursue intellectual and professional excellence while using those gifts responsibly and in service of others. Academic rigor and critical thinking at the core. Skills honed for service, not self-interest alone. Lifelong learning as a spiritual and civic duty. A Jesuit student is a lifelong learner, and your learning doesn't stop after graduation. Constantly, we have to learn and relearn and learn. Integration of knowledge across discipline. Don't be confined to what is taught in the class. There are many other things we can learn from one another, because I was told there are students from almost from 23 or 24 states. What a beautiful campus it will be. And if you interact and learn from one another, that is nothing like that. Always I say during the orientation, and Jesuit institution has 2 libraries. One is in somewhere in the building, I think not top floor, we have the library and books are there. Another library is our student community, is a huge library. Provided you interact, you learn from one another, have that humility to learn from one another. And I'm sure you will be very, very competent. The fourth one is compassion. Yes, this is a very good human quality every Jesuit student should have, every human being should have. To be sensitive, to be kind, to be empathetic, very, very important. Compassion in a Jesuit tradition is love made active. A heart moved by the suffering of others and motivated to respond. Students are formed to see the world through the eyes of the poor and marginalized, fostering empathy and justice. The word that you will, phrase that you will listen again and again, men and women for others, a statement made by our former General Pedro Arrupe, and we have added men and women for and with others. Solidarity with the poor and the vulnerable. Service learning integrates empathy into education. You will go and stay in the village, not only stay in the village, stay in the families, and you will discover how they live their life. And it is a very good way of integrating yourself and also to develop this human quality to be sensitive and to be compassionate. And compassion as a transformative structural force. The fifth point, the last point is commitment. Whatever you do, the 2 years that you spend, especially remember the sacrifice your parents have made. You are here because of their sacrifice. And the amount of fees, the money they have generated to pay the fees. They therefore, my dear students, be committed to the task at your hand and be focused. Commitment means persevering faithfully in one's vocation. Your vocation now is to study and study well and interact with one another. That is why the relationship and the mission of long term. And Jesuit graduates are formed to make choices grounded in deep values. Not only money makes you happy, you need to have the human values that will make you very, very happy, and to remain steadfast even in the in the face of adversity. It says, there will be plenty of challenges. You will be able to face it. Therefore, rooted in margins, again, excellence, doing better and better and better, not best. There is always room for improvement. Don't be satisfied with the little things. Don't be a mediocre. Therefore, do excellent job. Wherever you are, whatever you do, be competent. Always striving for greater good. Faithful to the community, family, I would say especially the parents and the social mission. Long-term over short-term gain. Yes, you need to have great patience. Yes, when you have purpose and passion, and also make sure that you have enough patience to hold on. A life of purpose, not convenience. Finally, remember these words. Again and again you may hear, forming the complete person in a Jesuit institution, we focus on these 5 C's: conscience, character, competence, compassion, and commitment. Together, these 5 pillars empower Jesuit students to lead with wisdom, serve with love, and transform the world for the greater glory of God and the good of all humanity. That is why you are here, dear students. As you begin your academic journey, I want you to be very, very compassionate and be sensitive towards all those whom you meet. God bless you. I wish you all the best for the academic year 2026.
Thank you, Father Rector, for those discerning thoughts. Dr. Rajiv Narona, our Dean, has a doctorate in management from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and has more than 2 decades of experience in the corporate sector, where his specialty was the conceptualization, design, and deployment of large, complex enterprise-wide HR systems for global organizations. He has been recognized for his contribution to the world of HR by being awarded the HR Leadership Award at the 2nd Asia's Best Employer Brand Awards at Singapore in August 2011. He was also conferred awards for HR leadership at the Global HR Excellence Awards in February 2012. Dr. Rajiv also writes management and business-related content for leading business media outlets. Dr. Rajiv, we invite you to address our new students.
Very good morning, all of you. Respected dignitaries and faculty colleagues and the energetic, vibrant batch of 26-28. Now I'll give you a choice, okay? The first choice you have to make. You want me to talk a story or you want me to give a speech? How many of you want story? Okay, 90%. So I think there are 10% who still want. We'll take classes from next week, okay? So that 10% I wish you are in my class. So let's start, So they say that every journey which is well begun is like a battle half won already, right? So I think if you start your commencement week, the first week of your PGDM in a good way, I'm sure it will help you a lot in the battle. So when I say battle, now the question is, race is one kind of battle. Can there be a race without a winner? In a race, you'll always have winners, right? But I'm going to tell you something today which will impress upon you that race doesn't have to have a winner. Listen to this story and I'll prove my point, okay? Now there was an there was a long, long ago there was a forest, and in that forest there lived a monkey. Let's call him Minx, right? Minx, and Minx was curious, very curious kind of an animal, you know. So Minx would ask questions. Why is the river all the time flowing? You know, why is the sun setting this side? So he had always some questions. Why is the moon following him wherever he goes in the night? Things like that. So one morning, Minx was swinging from branches in a tree, and then what Minx saw, he had never noticed before. He saw a butterfly flying. You know, and he saw that butterfly, very colorful and beautiful looking butterfly, multicolored, you know, very exotic looking. And then, you know, the Minx saw that butterfly was flying here, sitting there, flying there. And then he noticed one thing, you know, it circled him, it landed on a leaf, etc., etc. And then he once asked, you know, how is that you don't fall down? There's so much of wind, you don't fall down. And the butterfly said, I never battle the wind. That's what the butterfly said. And he couldn't understand. This small little monkey couldn't understand, right? So he scratched his head. Then he started following that butterfly everywhere. Every day he would follow the butterfly wherever it goes, right? He watched it, how it goes and rests on the flowers. It watched how it flaps its wings. All of this he kept watching for a few days. And then all of a sudden, one day what happened? He tried to do the same thing like the butterfly. So he tried to jump from one tree to a faraway tree, and then he fell down on the ground. And when the monkey fell, he was disappointed. He was unhappy. He had some questions in his mind, right? And then the butterfly slowly came and landed on his shoulder. And then, you know, butterfly asked, do you know, Minx, what was I before few weeks? And Minx said, yeah, you were a butterfly, you were a monkey. You were a smaller monkey. And then, you were a smaller butterfly. And then Minx says, Minx was told by the butterfly that, no, I was not a butterfly few weeks ago. I was a caterpillar. And I would walk, nobody would notice me. People would trample on the caterpillar or hurt it by the foot, etc. And therefore, please remember, this is what the butterfly told Minx, please remember that transformation takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. The forest has a beautiful culture of nobody laughing at something which is being transformed. Right? And that's when, you know, Minx pondered and went. And a few days later, suddenly Minx noticed that there was a thunderstorm coming and heavy rains lashing. And as he was observing the rain from the tree where he was perched, he noticed that the butterfly was struggling now. Butterfly was not able to flap its wings, the water was holding it down. And that's when Minx rushes and, you know, catches that butterfly, keeps his palm on top of it and protects it. And then the butterfly tells him something very beautiful. She says, today I needed somebody who's stronger. Some other day you need somebody who's weaker than you to protect you, right? And then this is something which dawned to that monkey, right? He always wanted to fly like that butterfly, you know, all over the place. Years later, monkeys, you know, the family of monkeys said that Minx had become wisest among them. Not because he was the strongest, not because he jumped farthest, but because he learned something very few creatures could really understand, right? So every creature in that forest carried some gifts. The gifts could be strength, it could be kindness, it could be gentleness, it could be speed, you know, it could be patience, courage, stamina, whatever it is. Each of the creatures had some strength, and that's what kind of, Minks realized. Now, let me say, why is this story relevant to you people, right? So every time the spring came, whenever the color filled the forest and butterflies, Mink would look at the flowers and smile, remembering the teacher, the butterfly, what it taught, right? Now, whatever I told you, it might be some imagery, right? It's some imaginary story which I created. I love stories, I love analogies. It's an imaginary story. It came out last week. We were doing a NLP session. There was a butterfly and this story, but I modified it completely. Now, the thing is, as you listen, don't ask whether the story is true or not, right? Ask, what truth can I pick up from the story? That is more important, because you all are going to spend the next 2 years facing this dilemma. And what I'm trying to tell you is, the race doesn't need to have a winner. Reframe the question. When will the race not have a winner? Anyone has an answer to that question from the story? When will the race not look for a winner? And everybody can be a winner. Anyone has the answer? Yes? When it is? Yeah, but then that could also have a winner. When your destinations are different, who will decide who is the winner? Right? Each one of you will have a different destination. Each one will have something different to look up to. And that's when you say there is no winner in this race. Everybody is a winner. We would help each other. If you go and read something called Ubuntu, young African children, they held their hands together and ran to the finishing race. Who was the winner? Everybody was a winner. So this is the Ubuntu moment, you can call it, right? So now, the moral is that every being has a value, even if their strengths differ and are not immediately visible. Monkey learned that day, that little monkey learned that growth and transformation will take time. You have to go through that phase of metamorphosis, caterpillar, pupa, whatever, and then butterfly, right? Strength is not always physical. Sometimes the weak, the one who could not fly, could protect that flying creature. Gentleness and kindness are powerful metaphors, right? They are powerful for us. Everyone needs to help at some point in life. Many inferences you can get from the story, right? Comparing yourself to others too early can make you forget your own unique gifts. This is the message I want you all to carry back today. Don't compare with yourself with somebody else, right? At a deeper level, it says something beautiful. The world works best not when everyone is the same, but when different strengths, perspectives, and talents come together. This is again SJIM. You will have people from 24 states, 23 states, from different backgrounds, from engineering, from commerce. So the world works best. And as we were saying, Father said, what about that library? As Srikant said, what about that library? One is up, one is down, right? So that is something which you can pick up from each one, right? And a PGDM program brings together people from diverse experiences, abilities, dreams. So over the next 2 years, you will meet classmates who think differently, communicate differently, approach problems differently. That diversity is not a barrier, it is your greatest advantage. So do not measure yourself against others. Your real competition is not the person sitting next to you, but it is the person whom you were yesterday. You try to beat that person today. That's the real race for you. That's the winning point for you. So as long as you can beat yourself, I think you can consider that you have run a favorable race, right? So in the days ahead, in the next 96 hours or maybe 100 hours, you will learn about the college, you learn about the culture, rules, processes, everything you need to navigate this 2-year journey. But before all of that, one important thing I want you to remember is accept yourself as most valuable person. Don't compare with the others. See yourself as an important piece in the larger puzzle and recognize that each one of you carries unique strengths and possibilities. That should be always in your mind. Not only today when you enter SJIM, but tomorrow when you enter into any new system. Ecosystem economy is what's going to come up. Don't compare with others, compare with yours. So make yourself the best version of yourself, beat yourself who you were yesterday. So you are not here by accident. All of you have come through with a lot of effort. You are all gems in their own ways, each with your brilliance, each worth your weight in gold. So with that, let me welcome you once again formally to this wonderful institution. Please enjoy and learn. Make as much as you can out of these 2 years. I think the start is today. So I'm sure you'll start off on a good note. And a good beginning is always half the battle won. So with that, thank you very much. And enjoy yourselves in the next 2 years. No questions for today.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv, for your engaging words. We have now come to the end of a bracing but effective program, in some sense a metaphor for the PGDM program itself. Thank you, Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Srikanth, and Rector, Reverend Dr. Daniel Fernandez, SJ, for bracing this event with your presence and for your insightful messages. I thank our Director, Reverend Dr. Roshan Pereira, SJ, for his help and guidance in planning and executing this inaugural function, as well as the entire week's orientation program. Thank you to our Finance Officer, Father Prashant D'Souza, SJ, and our Dean, Dr. Rajiv Narona, for their friendly support and cooperation. I'd like to thank our student volunteers, led by Student Council Head, Ms. Jaishnu, who worked in teams and meticulously planned and helped in every detail of the program, in logistics, hospitality, media, and song, and in anticipation for the help you will give us all during this week of the orientation program. We realize with appreciation that you are giving up the only week of your summer holidays to help the Institute. So thank you, dear students. I would especially like to place on record the silent but substantial efforts of Mrs. Clancy, Mr. Jenna, Mr. Chandrakant, Mr. Philip D'Souza, Ms. Envita, Ms. Joyce, Mr. Ravi, and Mr. Roshan, and all the support staff. Thank you for your kind help and support. This function is just the beginning of an event-filled orientation week. I thank Dr. Karen Rodrigues, faculty head of the orientation program, for her meticulous minute-by-minute planning of the entire orientation week to give us students a measurable advantage in the program through information, competency building, and networking. We also thank all the members of the faculty and administrative staff and support staff for your generous acceptance of the task we've requested of you and your assiduous efforts in preparing the orientation sessions. You will see, dear students, that our faculty and staff are the bedrock of SJIM success. And to you, our incoming students, your future is what you make of it. Thank you for trusting us to help you along the way. I now request the audience to rise as the choir leads us in our Institute anthem. request you to remain standing as the dignitaries leave. A few announcements for the students. Refreshments will be served in the lobby downstairs for the students. This is where you registered when you came in the morning. Faculty and staff are invited to the renovated cafeteria area for the blessing of the new renovated cafeteria space. And refreshments for faculty and staff will be served there itself. First year students, please remember to come back to the auditorium. You have about a half an hour break, so we'll start the next session at 12:05. Okay, it's 11:35 now, so at 12:05 we'll start the next session, so please take your break, refreshments, and then come back over here by 12:05 to the same auditorium.